So, colleagues, today Mr. O'Farrell and I are going to ask that we adjourn in memory of the victims of the horrible massacre in Orlando the other night. It's become commonplace in situations like this to have a moment of silence, and I'm not going to ask for that. I know moments of silence are generally signs of respect. I think in this instance, silence is abhorrently disrespectful. I have no silence left. In this situation, my reaction is anger, is frustration, is disbelief, and is a call to organize. You know, I don't know if the killer was motivated by allegiance to ISIS, an organization which beheads gays and lesbians, which throws them from rooftops of tall buildings, which buries them in the ground and then stones them. I don't know if he was animated by an anti-gay animus, or if he was perhaps struggling with his own sexual identity. But I do know that 49 people would still be alive today if this nation did not have such a ridiculous obsession with making guns available to people. This body has done so much to stand up and say we can't have these guns made available, and our Congress refuses to act. You know, I don't know what's going to come of this. If a congresswoman nearly being assassinated, if people enjoying a movie in Colorado, if churchgoers in Charleston, if school children in Connecticut wasn't enough to wake this country up, I don't know what the hell is. I really don't. So I've got no silence left. I do know one thing, though, that the LGBT community, I am absolutely confident, is going to be the biggest ally and the biggest shot of adrenaline into the gun control movement this country has ever seen. And folks who chained themselves to the White House and disrupted congressional hearings because of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and because of DOMA are going to go to work on this issue, and they're going to join the people around this horseshoe, Mr. Krikorian and others who have been leaders nationwide on this, and we're going to get to work. Mr. O'Farrell.
Thank you, Mr. Bonin, and thank you, Madam President. Colleagues, we are all Orlando on this day and every day. We are adjourning today for the 49 victims of the massacre that happened early in the morning on Sunday after the Pulse nightclub was closing. A heavily armed gunman, armed with an AR-15 assault rifle, stormed and began rapidly firing into the crowd, killing at least 49 people and wounding 53 in the worst mass shooting in U.S. history. Now, 6 of the victims are currently in critical condition. They need our prayers. The murdered include the following: the mother of 11 who beat cancer twice, the brother whose sister drove 12 hours just to say goodbye, the couples who died together, the immigrant from South Africa, the native of Connecticut, and the stories go on and on. They range in age from 18 to 50, a barista, an accountant, a recent high school graduate who was only 18 and had her entire life ahead of her and was going to college on a basketball scholarship, a pharmacy technician, entrepreneurs, students, churchgoers. Many were gay, lesbian, or transgender, but they were all someone's son, daughter, mother, aunt, uncle, father, or friend. Yesterday evening, we gathered out on the steps of LA City Hall to mourn those lives, the majority of whom were in their 20s and 30s, and there were memorial services across the city. Now, as Mr. Bonin made reference to, if the NRA, if the National Shooting Sports Foundation, if the California Rifle and Pistol Association, and the gun lobby in general does not think that we're going to start going after them and those who aid and abet terrorism across the country by supporting mass killing machines and automatic weaponry and the ammunition that feeds them, then they've got another thing coming. In 1966 into 1967, the Black Cat protests began in Los Angeles that started the LGBT rights movement in Los Angeles. 2.5 years later, we had Stonewall in the summer of 1969 in New York City. Orlando is this generation's Stonewall. And it is time, once and for all, to do all that we can to make sure that this carnage gets under control in this great country of ours. So, on that note, Mr. Bonin and I would like to read each of the victims' names one by one and their age.
Stanley Almodovar III, who was 23 years old.
Amanda Alvear, 25 years old.
Oscar Aracena Montero, who was 26 years old.
Rodolfo Ayala, 33.
Antonio David Brown, 29 years old.
Daryl Roman Burt II, 29.
Angel Candelario Padro, 28 years old.
Juan Chavez Martinez, 25 years old.
Luis Daniel Conde, 39 years old.
Corey James Connell, 21.
Tevin Eugene Crosby, 25 years old.
Dianca Deidre Drayton, 32.
Simon Adrian Carrillo Fernandez, 31 years old.
Leroy Valentin Fernandez, 25 years old.
Mercedes Marisol Flores, 26 years old.
Peter O. Gonzalez Cruz, 22.
Juan Ramon Guerrero, 22 years old.
Paul Terrell Henry, 41 years old.
Frank Hernandez, 27 years old.
Miguel Angel Honorato, 30.
Javier Jorge Reyes, 40 years old.
Jason Benjamin Josephat, 19 years old.
Eddie Jamaldroy Justice, 30 years old. You probably read about him. He texted his mother at 2 in the morning, "Mommy, I'm going to die."
Anthony Luis Loreon Odisla, 25 years old.
Christopher Andrew, known by Drew Leonin, who was one of 4 couples who is going to be buried. He was engaged to be married to one of the names I read earlier, Juan Ramon Guerrero. Instead of having a wedding, they're going to have a joint funeral in a few days.
Alejandro Barrios Martinez, 21.
Brenda Lee Marquez McCool, the 49-year-old woman that Mr. O'Farrell spoke about, who survived cancer twice, had 9 children, raised 12 children in total, was out dancing with her son that night. She died. He survived.
Gilberto Ramon Silva Menendez, 25 years old.
Kimberly Morris, 37 years old.
Akira Monet Murray, 18 years old.
Luis Omar Ocasio Capo, 20 years old.
Geraldo A. Ortiz Jimenez, 25.
Eric Ivan Ortiz Rivera, 36 years old.
Joel Rayon Paniagua, 32 years old.
John Carlos Mendez Perez, 35 years old.
Enrique L. Rios, Jr., 25 years old.
John C. Nieves Rodriguez, 27 years old.
Javier Emmanuel Serrano Rosado, 35.
Christopher Joseph Sanfeliz, 24 years old.
Yilmari Rodriguez Solivan, 24.
Edward Sotomayor, 34 years old.
Shane Evan Tomlinson, 33 years old.
Martin Benitez Torres, 33 years old.
Jonathan Antonio Camui Vega, 24.
Juan P. Rivera Velasquez, 37 years old.
Luis S. Vielma, 22 years old.
Frankie Jimmy de Jesus Velasquez, 50 years old.
Luis Daniel Wilson Leon, 37 years old.
And Gerald Arthur Wright, 31 years old. May they rest in peace.
Mr. Bonin, Ms. Joel Farrell, I think everything's been said. Thank you very much. Except to say enough is enough, and may they rest in peace.